Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Thursday, June 20th, 2024 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I bring my consciousness along to feel the feels. And today we have that bridge from Gemini into Cancer. We're going to have the sun moving into Cancer at 1:51 p.m. Pacific time. And Western astrology aligns with the seasons, or I guess the seasons, we'll call it that. So this, in the northern hemisphere, begins summer officially, and it is solstice energy, which has a little extra magic to it. A little extra magic, a little extra light. That being said, today may be a little interesting because we begin the day with Sun squaring Neptune. Neptune at 29 degrees by itself is already full of mayhem, past life energy, karmic energy, lessons to be completed through lifetimes. And so if anything weird has happened or strange, or you're finding old things coming up and cycling back around again, this is all part of Neptune finishing up. Now, the sun in Gemini brings extra notice to this energy. It also brings a little challenge. It brings a little square to this energy, a little pizzazz symbol energy to it. But I think sometimes we have layers to the lessons, right? And understanding, bringing along your consciousness, understanding is a big part of that lesson. So as we have the Sun and Neptune square, pay attention. And you can always ask the universe, like, can you make it clear, what is my part of this lesson? What do I need to learn? What is my completion game in this energy? So that's happening at like 11 a.m. And like I'm saying, things may get a little wonky with that because anytime we have Neptune, it can bring, like I said, just like fog and past life energy and confusion. And Gemini is so curious. It's like, but why am I confused? What am I confused about? I want to go in there. So we're taking that Gemini curiosity to Sun in Cancer. And the theme for Sun in Cancer is chaos. It's not chaos, but just everything's happening over here. We're already feeling this Sun Neptune square over here. Anyway, but the Sun in Cancer, we're going to be focusing on feeling the feels. Now, that's been a focus a lot of times during Sun in Cancer for me over the years. But sometimes there is so much of the mentalizing and storyizing and theorizing the feels. And this Cancer season, rather than trying to talk about it or, any of the mentalizing of it, we are going to do our best to sink in and just feel it. And what does this feel in my body? And as I looked at these cards, I was like, oh, look at all these feels that I have. We've got the trust. We've got the thunderbolt. We've got the playfulness. We've got the intensity. And here we have the slowing down. Intensity and slowing down by themselves together always is a little funny to me. These are all just like part of those feels that we can feel in any given day. And so rather than storying them, which we often do as humans, just sinking in and feeling them, that's the theme. That's going to be the focus. And I'm sure other things will bubble up as we move through it. Sun in Cancer brings us into our first experience of feeling. This is our first water sign as we move through from Aries. And so it is kind of like diving into the deep end suddenly. Suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, I'm this feeling creature. These things bubbling up inside me. What are these things? So we're going to listen. We're going to listen and sink into the chaos. The pure chaos. I just keep watching things fall.
That's just happened.
Wolf just had one of those like clinging to the edge of a cliff moments on Joe's shelf with his papers. So that was that chaos moving through. That's all that Sun Neptune square energy. Anyway, so Cancer, we're going to be feeling these feels. We're going to be listening to our intuition. And that can be a challenging thing because the mind likes to talk. And we're still going to have mind energy, even though we have the Sun, Venus, and Mercury now all having moved into Cancer. We still have Jupiter hanging out in Gemini. That is going to be broadcasting mind energy still. So being able to sink a little deeper into the intuition and honing that, nurturing that. Cancer is a very motherly energy. It's very nurturing. It's very kind. It likes to take care of others' needs, hopefully focusing on your own as well, but nurturing the feels, nurturing that intuition energy will support you with Cancer. Now, Cancer likes things comfortable. Who doesn't? But Cancer really likes to sink into comfort energy, which we don't have around here right now. Oh my goodness. Don't know if you heard that shenanigan, but sinking into the feels is not comfortable, and this is where we're gonna push against that Cancer energy and see where we can get comfortable even in the discomfort of feeling the things. Now, we're also building to a full moon. We have a full moon coming in on Friday evening, so this is what is the right word? Accentuating the feels energy and whatever emotions may be bubbling up, not to mention all the planets in the sign of Cancer. So do be aware as we build to this full moon in Capricorn. Even though Capricorn's pragmatic, we have the moon hanging out in Sagittarius, and that moon adds a little of the fire element to the wateriness that we're currently experiencing. So fire and water together is very passionate, and it can be very steamy. So you may find yourself getting very passionate about things that come up, for better or for worse. That might be this intensity card that we have going on in here. So let's look at these cards. The first card is Trust. And I think this card, it is a water card. So it is like connected to feels and the emotions and just trusting the feels that are coming through, letting them move through. I have something that I do because as a very empathetic person, I realized how much I feel other people's things, and I tried for a long time, like, I'm going to block myself, I'm going to shield myself, and I didn't find any of that really worked for me. What I found worked for me was allowing myself to feel it and not hold on to it, not create the mental, like, they're almost like bungee cords that like kind of hold the feels in, not create those things, but rather be kind of like a rooted tree and let the feels move through. And I encourage that you just trust, like, if you feel it, it'll move through. Watch where you mentalize it, because we all do. I love that we have the playfulness. You can even get playful with your feelings. I love the movie Inside Out. Before that was a movie, that was something that I did with my mentor, where we would, create characters for a fear or for a feeling or for your inner critic, like so many different layers. You can do that and talk to them and see, what are these feels doing for with you? I love that we have the slowing down card. Sun in Cancer is definitely a call to like settle in, slow down, take it easy, soften, nurture the energies. And then that leads these two, the thunderbolt and the intensity. And so this is showing there may be some intense energies coming up for you to process, whether this has to do with that Sun Neptune square, whether it has to do with this full moon that's building, or just the, experience of the feels. Do be aware that there may be some, in my case, this shows up as tears a lot of times, like the thunderbolt, that you have to like experience. So, but it also could be, like I said, a little passionate, a little frustrated, a little Sagittarius-y. We do have the moon and Saturn squaring later in the day, later in the evening. And so you have these like mutable squares that can just bring up questions. And being that Saturn is in Pisces, again, deeper karmic things that we have to move through and process. Be willing. I would say that would be the overall message of the day. Can you be willing to show up for what is showing up and dance and move with it a little and see what it wants to show you and tell you? And just watch for, what the cats were showing us. a little bit of chaos going on. Last thing that I didn't mention, well, we'll dig into this a little bit too. Know that Cancer can represent our home and our family, included our extended ancestral family. And I find that beyond processing our own stuff, a lot of times on a feelings level, we are processing their stuff. And sometimes it can be good to differentiate. Even though we may have cords of it, those cords may be deeper. And sometimes we stay holding on to those cords because they're familiar. And sometimes it's time to release and let go. And that may be part of this full moon energy coming in. So I'll leave that there. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. And the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power. And remember who you are, for you are the solution. Namaste.